Argent Crusaders! The hour of justice has come!
Highlord Tirion Fordring proclaimed, his voice echoing with solemn resolve from atop his armored steed. The gates of Icecrown Citadel loomed before them, a daunting fortress of dark power. With a decisive gesture from Tirion Fordring, the lion-shaped head of the battering ram crashed against the citadel's gates, heralding the beginning of a long-awaited reckoning. The winds of the north were thick with anticipation as the heroes of the Alliance and Horde, united under a common cause, prepared to confront Arthas, the Lich King. The cries of the Argent Crusaders, an army bound by the light's unwavering justice, resonated around Tirion Fordring. Each cheer was a testament to their shared commitment to hold the Lich King accountable for the unspeakable horrors he had unleashed upon the world and the dark, ancient powers he had enslaved. As Icecrown's defenses faltered, the champions of justice gathered at the gates, a formidable force at the threshold of the Lich King's domain. Yet amidst this clamor of battle, Tirion Fordring's thoughts wandered to paths untaken. Could the tragedy of Arthas' descent into madness, driven by an unyielding desire to protect his people, have been averted? The culling of Stratholme, the rise of the Scarlet Crusade, the downfall of Lord Aron and Quel'Thalas, might these calamities have been prevented had he, Tirion Fordring, not been consumed by grief and exiled during those pivotal moments? Regret weighed heavily on Tirion Fordring's heart. His choices had cost him dearly: the loss of his son Talon, the estrangement from his wife Karandra, whose fate remained unknown. These sorrows had driven him to forge the Argent Crusade from the remnants of the Argent Dawn and the Order of the Silver Hand, fueled by a vow made in the wake of his son's death. Battling the ravages of age and the scars of countless battles, Tirion Fordring found solace in the guiding light of his faith. It was this devotion that had once led him to save the Orc Eitrig, an act of honor that cost him his place in the Order of the Silver Hand, his family, and his friends. Yet, it was this same devotion that now brought him to the icy precipice of Icecrown Citadel. Facing what might be his final battle, Tirion Fordring embraced his fate. His life, a tale of sacrifice and duty, was a testament to his unyielding commitment to the Holy Light. As he prepared to confront the Lich King, Tirion Fordring stood resolute, ready to sacrifice himself to save the world from this great evil, and perhaps find peace in the afterlife with his beloved wife and son. Abruptly torn from the precipice of battle, Highlord Tirion Fordring found himself ensnared in a mystical time vortex, a swirling maelstrom that wrenched him from his own timeline, where he had stood before Icecrown Citadel. When his senses returned, he stood not amidst the icy expanse of Icecrown Glacier, but in a land both strange and hauntingly familiar. The realization dawned upon him with a mix of awe and confusion. He was in the Eastweald, a land he remembered from a time before it was ravaged by the plague of undeath, a land that would someday become the Plague Lands. The air, crisp and cool, brought with it the nostalgic scent of the Northlands. Panic surged within Tirion Fordring, a tempest of anxiety and disbelief. His thoughts raced. His presence was vital at the battle for Icecrown Citadel. His crusaders, his cause, all depended on him. Was this some cruel illusion, a trick of the mind? Clad in his ornate battle armor that stands out in this time period, he grasped the hilt of the legendary Ashbringer. The sword, aglow with the purity of the holy light, reassured him of its presence, its power flowing into his aged form, renewing his strength and vitality. Though time had weathered him, the light within the Ashbringer was a balm to his old bones, rejuvenating him with a vigor reminiscent of his youth. It was as if the strength of many coursed through his veins. Embracing the warmth and power of the light, Tirion Fordring's spirit steadied. The once overwhelming panic subsided, replaced by a newfound resolve. He was ready once more to face whatever destiny this strange twist of time had in store for him. Guided by a sense of purpose, Tirion Fordring followed the Thondroril River downstream, the waterway that marked the boundary between the Eastweald and the wider Northlands to the west. His journey brought him to a quaint cottage, a familiar refuge from his years of exile from the Order of the Silver Hand. With a heavier knock than intended, his armored gauntlet echoed against the wooden door. Standing back, the tip of the Ashbringer lightly touched the green grass below as he awaited a response. The door swung open, revealing a man who was both a stranger and yet intimately known to Tirion Fordring, his younger self. The two Fordrings, separated by years and experience, exchanged a prolonged, incredulous gaze. His younger self, with a beard just beginning to gray, embodied a life not yet marred by the full weight of loss and duty. "Are you a vision?" his younger self inquired, his voice tinged with disbelief. The elder Tirion Fordring, his whitened hair and beard a testament to his long journey, suggested perhaps it was he who was ensnared in a vision, a divine illusion cast by the light. But his younger counterpart insisted on the reality of their encounter, perceiving an unspoken sorrow in the elder's eyes. The conversation took a somber turn as the elder Tirion Fordring, still grappling with the surreal nature of their meeting, voiced his belief that the light had granted him a second chance, a chance to alter the course of a future fraught with loss and decay, a future where the kingdom of Lorda Ron would succumb to a plague of undeath, transforming its people and lands into a realm of living dead. The revelation was met with confusion and anger from his younger self. He could not fathom a reality more grim than his current exile, having already lost so much for the sake of honor. But the elder Tirion Fordring, burdened with the knowledge of a bitter future, imparted a truth more harrowing still, that their losses were not yet complete, that the worst was yet to come. Resolute in his newfound purpose, the elder Tirion Fordring conveyed his belief that together they could avert the impending doom. He held on to the conviction that the Holy Light had not merely sent him on a journey through time, but entrusted him with a mission of utmost importance: to prevent the rise of the Lich King and the untimely demise of their loved ones. As they journeyed together along the Thondroril River's tranquil shore, Tirion Fordring imparted to his younger self a profound truth. Though his own wife and son were lost to time, it was not too late for his younger self to mend the broken ties with his family. Met with resistance, Tirion Fordring, seasoned by the trials of time, spoke of the Holy Light's guiding hand, assuring that it would lead them not to dishonor, but to a path of righteousness and hope. This assurance resonated with his younger self, stirring his faith and compelling him to follow. The conversation soon turned to the Ashbringer, the legendary sword that Tirion Fordring bore. His younger self, awestruck by the radiant crystal at its core, noticed the emblem of the Order of the Silver Hand etched upon it. Tirion Fordring revealed the blade's origin, a creation of Magni Bronzebeard, with the crystal being the heart of an ancient being of the Holy Light, forged in the times preceding Kel'Thuzad's undead onslaught upon Lorda Ron. As they conversed, his younger self's curiosity about Kel'Thuzad and his dark master grew. Tirion Fordring shared his grim intent to confront Kel'Thuzad and his cultists, but withheld the identity of his Dark Master, secretly knowing that given enough time, it would be Prince Arthas Menethil who destroys his own kingdom as the Lich King's champion and as the Dark Master of Kel'Thuzad. Upon reaching Darrowmere Lake, Tirion Fordring was struck by a wave of nostalgia. He recalled a cherished memory, a day spent on these very shores with his wife Karandra and son, a moment of true happiness captured in that moment. His younger self, inquisitive about their location, followed Tirion Fordring onto an abandoned rowboat at a small dock. Despite the weight of his battle armor, Tirion Fordring balanced the boat as his younger self, rowed them out into the lake. Their destination was revealed to be Caer Darrow. Tirion Fordring spoke of its significance. At this moment in time, an unsuspecting malevolent death cult, the Cult of the Damned, lurked in the fortress on the island. He suspected Kel'Thuzad would be there, using it as a headquarters. The plan was daring yet vital: to confront and eliminate the young Kel'Thuzad, potentially averting the plague of undeath and the fall of Lord Eron. Upon reaching the island of Caer Darrow by rowboat, his younger self draped himself in humble rags to conceal his identity, though disguising Tirion Fordring's shining, ornate armor and the radiant Ashbringer proved a far greater challenge. His younger self voiced his concern about infiltrating the fortress unnoticed, especially given the Radiant Sword's tendency to draw attention. Tirion Fordring, with a hint of amusement, quipped, "Who said anything about stealth?" "Step aside, guardsman," Tirion Fordring commanded, his voice firm yet calm. The guard, overcome by reverence, swiftly obeyed, allowing the two Tyrions entry into the walled village. As they moved through the streets, the villagers gazed in astonishment at the brilliant light emanating from the Ashbringer, with many approaching, seeking blessings from the venerable figure of Tirion Fordring. Obliging, Tirion Fordring imparted the light's warmth upon them, even as his younger self displayed signs of impatience, mindful of their pressing quest. However, the mission took a sudden turn when his younger self, with swift reflexes, struck down a villager who, concealing a dagger, had attempted to ambush Tirion Fordring. Revealed as a cultist of the damned, the villagers scattered in panic. Tirion Fordring, unshaken, confessed that he had anticipated such treachery. The cultist's actions not only validated his suspicions, but also underscored the urgency of their mission to confront the dark forces that had infiltrated this once peaceful village. In this moment, the two Tyrions, united by blood and purpose, stood ready to face the looming shadow that threatened to engulf Caer Darrow and beyond. The two Tyrions, bound by a shared destiny, hastened through the fortress. Tirion Fordring, demonstrating foresight honed through years of war, seized a bow and a quiver of arrows for his younger self, instructing him to be prepared to confront Kel'Thuzad. Their pursuit led them deep into the fortress, down a winding stairway that descended into the shadowy depths of what would later be known as Scholomance. Cultists scattered in terror at their approach, inadvertently guiding the Fordrings to their quarry. In a vast candlelit chamber, they confronted Archmage Kel'Thuzad. Tirion Fordring's voice boomed, "Him!" as Kel'Thuzad, seized by fury, unleashed shadow bolts in a desperate attempt to repel them. Yet the elder Tirion Fordring, wielding the Ashbringer, deflected the dark projectiles with a grace and agility beyond his age, a testament to the Holy Light's empowering embrace. Kel'Thuzad, sensing his imminent defeat, yelled, "Impossible!" and began to weave a teleportation spell. Reacting with swift precision, his younger self loosed arrows at the fleeing mage. Just as they struck, Kel'Thuzad vanished in a burst of magic, leaving the Fordrings to chase his trail outside. In the cold rain, illuminated by the Ashbringer's glow, they found Kel'Thuzad, wounded and fading. With his last breath, he revealed the irreversible spread of his master's plague, sowing a seed of despair even in his defeat. His younger self's worries deepened, every word confirming the grim future Tirion Fordring had foretold. Determined to prevent Kel'Thuzad's return, they dragged his body inside, away from the rain's cold touch. Dousing his corpse in oil from nearby lanterns, Tirion Fordring prepared to set the body aflame. His younger self hesitated, pondering the implications of burning the entire fortress. But Tirion Fordring, resolute in his decision, declared the necessity of purging the cultist stronghold. As flames engulfed Kel'Thuzad's remains and spread throughout the fortress, the desperate cries of the cultists echoed within its walls. Standing vigilant outside, the Tyrions ensured no cultist escaped the inferno. Tirion Fordring, however, knew their task was far from complete. More cultists lurked across Lord Aeron, spreading the deadly plague. They had to act swiftly to warn the king and halt the distribution of the tainted grain, particularly to the city of Stratholme, where its consumption could birth a vast, unstoppable undead army. Time was of the essence. The two experienced paladins, one younger, the other worn by the trials of time, set forth to Lordaeron's city. Their mission was clear. They must reach the king and sound the alarm to warn of the plagued harvest. If they were to change the course of history and prevent the looming undead catastrophe, they had to act now, before it was too late. Tirion Fordring's adventure will continue as part 2 in the next video. Don't forget to comment your ideas below and subscribe. Until next time, ScorpRogue out.